Naples 1, Greenville nil. Paul, we get back in the win column in the league. FC Naples picks up another 3 points on the weekend. What did you make of this match?
Surprise, surprise. Ferrin gets the penalty in the Open Cup and comes out, has a big goal. And I don't think either of us, based on our prediction, thought that was going to be the winner. But it was enough to get the job done on a Saturday night in Naples.
Yeah, can't ask for much more than that. Definitely a gritty, grinded out style win. First couple episodes we said we think we're going to see a lot of these 1-0 wins, low scoring games, and I think that's exactly what we saw on Saturday night was that game, and that game plan from the boys was just, let's grind this out. We're going to take advantage of our chances, which we did. We didn't have many. We had one blast off the post, Ferrin clinical finish. Can't ask for much more than 3 points, and we move on to Sarasota at the weekend.
Yeah, and big news for the club. We were hoping to get an episode out to talk about it, and unfortunately, not professional podcasters, so we have day jobs and weren't able to talk about it. But before we get into the game, do we want to talk about the buzz that's going on in South Florida right now?
Yeah, so if you don't know, FC Naples drew Orlando City MLS side at home in the U.S. Open Cup. That game's going to be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Again, that's at home against Orlando City. I'm sure we'll preview that one. We need to preview Sarasota and recap that one first. Don't want to jump the shark too much, start looking ahead. But Orlando City, they seem beatable. They've lost their last two matches of 5-0 to Nashville and 6-0 to LA, both on the road. So they've got another road game with Columbus this Sunday. So we'll have to see how that one goes for them. But yeah, Orlando City, could we pull up the ultimate cup set and beat Orlando City?
Yeah, I think it's totally possible. My fear is if they start 0 for 3, 0 and 3, they might send out the ones against us to try to use Naples as a get right spot. But just awesome for the club, awesome for the league, super exciting. Um, that we get to host an MLS side. I had people who don't care too much about soccer, texting me, reaching out about getting tickets. So I think that this could be, you know, the introduction to FC Naples for a lot of people around town and across the country, quite frankly. So awesome that we get to do it at home. And, obviously we got Sarasota this weekend in the league that we got to get ready for. So, um, and then turn around for I would argue, the biggest game in franchise history.
Yeah, probably. If not, just because of the exposure this game will get us. Um, Looking forward to that one for sure. To have an MLS side coming into town, it was always a chance when this team started, knowing that Open Cup competition exists. So really, really looking forward to that one. Should be another great day out. Great
Was
midweek tilt.
was that a should that be a fine for calling it a franchise and not the club? Be
Yeah,
should that
a
be
club.
a fine?
Yes, that should be a fine.
Biggest
I
game in club
apologize. The
history.
club, not the franchise.
uh, but yeah. So what did you make of the lineup changes on Saturday? And I think what people really want to know, was FC Naples on your big TV in the Final Four on a small screen for you,
Well, I did not
or
watch
you were
I was
that's
there, so I did not even watch the Final Four. I checked the scores. Both games, I wasn't too impressed with when I did check over to them. I got home for the late game, and I think I fell asleep before halftime because it was,
so bad?
pretty not a great Final Four game. Um, but yeah, I was at the game, fully present, chasing around my 2-year-old. It was a lot of fun. Always good to be back. Another beautiful sunset, beautiful night, fun atmosphere. Ooh, great game.
Yeah, it didn't come across as nice this go around. So I don't know if the camera heights were different, but it was super sunny on the broadcast. It was a tough watch until until the sun went down on ESPN Plus. But
Yeah.
glad I got to watch it live and didn't have to cover my ears and not look at social media for a day to enjoy the game.
Yeah, it's this one I almost think this time of year they do need to push the games back, 15, 30 minutes, start them at 7:30 just because of the sun setting. That way I wouldn't have to bring my sunglasses just for that first 15, 20 minutes where
Mhm.
it's blinding.
Yeah, and I think I might have added 2 more people to the Bay Area supporter group. I had the game on the secondary TV at a Final Four watch party. Um, they did notice when Naples scored, so I think that's a good start for doubling the fan base out in Oakland.
Look at you growing the Bay Area supporters group. And that's the California, Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area supporters group, not
Yes,
the Tampa Bay supporters group,
correct,
for
correct. I
those
guess,
wondering.
as Floridians, that could be confusing. Yes, this is the Oakland, the San Francisco Bay, not the Tampa Bay area. So, yeah, not trying to steal any fans from Paradise, the Sarasota Paradise.
Love it. But yes, so the lineup, we did say we wanted to see a really similar lineup in our preview pod from the Open Cup. And that's, I think, exactly what we saw, with the exception of Max Glasser not in the matchday squad. Hopefully, everything is okay with him and it's just a precautionary leave out because he, I think, is going to be key. But we did see Jaden Strumier step right up, step right into the squad. I thought he had a good game. They moved him over to the left side, so he was playing left back, Cisneros on the right. That was the only change from the game on Tuesday night against CFL. So again, really strong lineup. I thought everyone played really well. You did kind of start to see they started to look a little tired towards the end of this one. Maybe from that hour mark on, maybe even 75th minute. I was like, okay, these guys seem a little tired, but not as tired as Greenville looked, and they did not have a midweek game. So it was, we definitely showed, I think, how well we are conditioned, if that's the right word for it, in that we could play these 2 games in the same week and still look good for it. And now we've got a week off until Sarasota on Saturday. So hopefully that gives everyone time to rest, recover, and we can see a similar lineup on Saturday night back to 100%.
Yeah, it's going to be a much needed rest. I think that was that back to back midweek games for us. I feel like it's been back to back weeks or 2 out of 3 weeks with midweek fixtures. So it'll be good to get a full week off. And the other big thing is we're not traveling, so you get the full week off. You're not traveling. I do think all these early home games, we're going to pay for that in the summer, but I'm sure everybody, not just for our club, but around the league, is going to be excited to not have to come down to Florida, South Florida, and play games in the 100-degree, 95% humidity weather in the summer. So, taking advantage of the multiple consecutive home games, and then, right, you get the Open Cup on the back end after that game, which is also once again at home. I do believe in that idea that you play multiple home games in a row, you'll be stronger and stronger, just because the recovery, the timeline stays on your normal schedule. You're sleeping in your own bed night in, night out, and you don't have to get on a bus or a plane to head to the game. And I imagine Sarasota is going to drive down. My guess is they're going to drive down Saturday morning. So we're going to get hopefully some bus legs in that first half, and then they'll bus back at the end of the game. So not the ideal way I'm sure those guys want to spend their Saturday. So definitely an advantage to us on that end.
Yeah, you sure hope so. Getting these guys rested up. We saw Cisneros, I think, went off around the 40th minute with an injury. You hope that he can be fully recovered and back to 100% for this Saturday, because I think we're gonna need these guys. Both Saturday for this Southwest Florida Derby battle for paradise, I think is what we're calling it. Um, Between us and Sarasota, you've got that one, and then turn around Wednesday, you've got Orlando City, and then then you're flying to Portland for another big game on the road. So games coming up quick. That recovery is going to be so important, and it does help being at home. Um,
And there's no rush to get him back. I think that if he's not 100%, there's no reason to rush him back this early in the year. And in the back line, the whole game looked good, so I'm not super concerned if he's got to sit a game or two. What we're hoping is it's not a prolonged injury that he's missing several matches.
Yes, yeah, and Hudson Gay stepped right up. He came on for him, and I thought he had a good game once he came in. Cisneros and Glasser just offer so much going forward, and I think we're gonna see that eventually from Gay because he's showing signs. He's just really young still, and I think we're both all in favor of keeping him and signing him past his that trial contract. So excited for him. And Stromier looked great too, stepping right up, and he had some big shoes to fill on both of those wings, and I think those guys did a great job.
Yeah, for sure. Again, not super worried. It'll be an opportunity for Gay to really earn the shirt and become a full time player in the squad.
So back to us knowing what we're talking about. Sometimes we said, I think I said specifically, Ferrin needed that penalty to really boost his confidence, and I think about a minute and a half in, right off the kickoff, he went 1v1 with their right back, Fritz, number 22, and just took him to task. Played a great ball into the box, and was like, okay, he's up to something here. This is something that we knew he was capable of, but hadn't really seen at that level this season. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, he's back. Here we go. And then sure enough, 18th minute, he gets his goal from open play. Great ball played into the box by Garcia. I think came off of a throw-in originally and kind of worked its way down that right side. And then he finds Ferrin. Ferrin takes a touchdown and just buries it, makes the keeper pay. And sure enough, we didn't think that would be enough. I think we were talking during the game how this game, we're going to need 2 goals here to win this. And it ended up being enough.
Yeah, I don't think either of us thought that this was going to be one goal was going to be enough. I know I think I predicted 3-2. You went 2-1. And one of the things we wanted to see was that back line play really well. Paradise, or I'm sorry, Greenville
Greenville.
didn't. Yeah, Greenville, who scored several goals this year, they've had a high tempo offense, really just didn't look on our level. Didn't look like um, they they. It looked like once again we were playing a lower league team. By the way, I think we dominated that game start to finish outside of the couple chances, but nothing that was really in hindsight rewatching that was super super dangerous.
Yeah, I think outside of the first 2 minutes with Ferrin going 1v1 down their wing, they ended up, I think, turning that into a counterattack with Lalati, their striker up top, who just he just took off. And it was like, whoa, I did not know he had that kind of pace to him. Just takes off, and Delgado comes out, makes a great save, 1v1 with him, goes out for a corner, and then we deal with it. And that was really the only chance I noted for them from the first half. Second half, I think they had another chance right after halftime off a corner. Header hit the post and went out for a goal kick. That was really the only 2 big chances, I think. And Delgado was up for the first one. Second one, I think we had covered. It just hit the post. And we dealt with everything else. And they had the majority of the possession, it seemed like. But we just kind of suffocated that game. We had the better of the chances. We didn't create many chances outside of, the goal. And then second half, I want to say right after halftime too, O'Connor gets played in, long ball gets in behind and just blasts one off the post. I think the post still might be vibrating, I think if it's an inch over to the right, that one might break through the net. It was a great strike by him, but unfortunate not to make it 2-0, because I think if it did, then we're just gliding into 3 points and moving on. But Kind of had to be a little scared, but again, they didn't really create any other chances. So it wasn't really too concerning. Like you said, I don't know if I'd go so much as to say they look like a lower level, lower league team, but I think we were clearly the better team on the day and just didn't give them anything.
Yeah, it shows that there's levels to this league. There are playoff teams and there are non-playoff teams. There are home playoff teams and road playoff teams. So, they probably, it's a long season. They'll make their adjustments again. I think anytime teams in this league go on the road, it's going to be a struggle. So, um, again, don't want to insult too much because we will have to go to Greenville and it'll be a totally different game.
Yeah, I think the humidity might have gotten to these guys too, because I think from about, 30, 45, especially second half, 75th minute, they looked gassed. They looked done. Not going to lie, when Leo Castro came on right around the hour mark for them, he's the guy that scored against us last season, I think in both games. Got a little nervous. I know he definitely scored for them on the road. I'm trying to remember if he scored against us when we were home, but I got a little nervous when he came on. Thankfully, nothing came of it. He didn't really make a difference. None of their subs really made a difference. I thought all of our subs were like pretty much alike for like outside of Rose, who's a defender coming on. We saw Backstein come on again. He had a couple chances, great runs in behind, but that the whole second half was just, it felt like us taking a fire blanket almost, and just putting it over the fire and just saying, yeah, we're done here. We're just going to pack up, take our 3 points, and move on to Saturday.
And there's an art to closing out games in soccer. It is a challenge, and teams give up late leads all the time. We saw it against Corpus. So, to close it out the way we did and hold that lead for as long as we did, there's something to be said about the guys in that locker room.
Yeah, yeah, it was you know good to see us respond after we did give up that late lead and just hold on to this one, suffocate it, grind it out. We got the 1-0 win. It gave me very much the Richmond game vibes, where it was
Mhm.
very similar of, we're just not going to give you anything. This is there's nothing even for you to take here. We're just going to we're going to head out with all 3 points. Um, we would be remiss not to talk about we try not to do this, let me preface this, on this show, because it is a developmental league for the officials. Someone, I think, commented like, yeah, if the referees were any better, they wouldn't be refereeing at this level. And that was true, but the calls in this game just seemed so inconsistent, and it was both ways. It wasn't just against Naples. I don't want to sound like a homer just complaining about the refs, but there was certain times where guys would get absolutely hacked down and it was nothing, it was play on. And then other times it seemed like they were jumping for a 50-50 ball and the whistle would go, and both sets of players looked equally confused as to who the foul was on. So it was an interesting performance, I think, from the officials, and I'm sure it's a common occurrence at this level. But yeah, what did you make of the officiating?
Yeah, I think the biggest gripe people have with officiating is when you don't know what is going to be called and when. You know, if they're going to let the guys play, that it's going to be start to finish. And understandably, maybe 80 plus things tighten up a little bit, but you're either going to let them play or you're going to call everything. And to me, I prefer letting the guys play in all sports, not just soccer, but just want to know if we're going to go for this 50-50 ball, both sides, is there going to be foul at the end of it, or kind of regardless of what happens, it's going to go to whoever wins the ball. Um, and like you said, there's a lot of reasons guys referee at this level. Some are probably developmental, some just probably love the game and want to be a part of it. So, they definitely don't make enough to have us professional podcasters really coming after them because they do a thankless job and it's hard and everybody's got their opinions. I think fair criticism's always allowed, and I think that's what this is. Like, hey, you don't care which way you go, just be a little more consistent on if we're going to play on or we're going to blow the whistle 60 times in a game.
Yeah, like it can be consistently bad, if you will, but just be consistent, like you said.
Hmm.
Just there should be a certain threshold for okay, that's a foul, and it shouldn't really fluctuate. This I felt like was kind of all over the place, and it was hard to watch as a fan. And then there was yellow cards given out. Delgado in the 89th minute took like he moved the ball. He hadn't even put it down, but I think he moved over to the
That
other
was a
side
yellow
for a goal
card.
kick,
That was a cool.
and it just like
You
no
know,
warning, yellow card, and I was like, fair play, but like I thought we had done so much more time wasting than that
mhm.
earlier on. I mean, it was and like throw-ins had to be taken at every specific blade of grass, it seemed like at times, and other times it was like a free-for-all of sure you can roll the ball up 30 more yards for the free kick. Like what are we doing?
I thought that Delgado yellow was probably the fast. I'm with you. That was the fastest I've ever seen a keeper get a yellow for time wasting, and it was almost like the ref didn't want to keep running. He knew what Delgado was doing and was like, I'm just gonna give the yellow now because I know he's going to waste all that. I know what's coming. He knew that it was going to be a 30 to 45-second delay. Um, so of all those calls, that one I thought it was just funny. You knew it was coming, you knew what he was doing, and well worth the yellow for Delgado. I think he's got probably a few more before he's got to sit a match for suspension.
Yes, a well worked yellow. The other highlight for me was both coaches getting a yellow card in the same instance. So I don't know what was going on there, but we saw Matt Poland get one, and then their head coach also get one almost immediately after. So what the words were exchanged there, I don't know, but that it did make me chuckle all the way across the field to see both coaches getting a yellow card for something. Um,
I do have a question because I've seen it happen before, and I don't know if I've ever seen this instance happen. But if you're a player on the bench, you're jawing at the official, you get a yellow card, and you come into the game as a sub, does that yellow card carry with you into the game, or is it like two different?
yes, yeah, that would
Okay,
carry with you into the
so then
game.
you pick up a yellow into the game, you're off. You're off with the red. There was some theatrics. I think it was Backstein that came back and kind of made an attempt at the keeper. I really thought that, and it might not have been Backstein. It might have been too early. Um, it looked like the ref was contemplating a red card. Do you remember that play?
Yes,
It was kind of like a 50-50 ball in the box. The ball kind of sat there. The keeper wasn't on it. So our guy came back into play and was like, I'm gonna go get that ball. Saw the replay. Didn't look like he made any contact with the keeper. Maybe got some of the ball, but um, I really thought by the way that was going, the ref was thinking red card. I don't think any card ended up being shown, but what did you make
no,
of
and I
that?
think it was rightfully so because it didn't look like there was any contact there. I think the keeper was trying to make something out of nothing,
Hmm.
and try to send us down to 10 men. But we had earlier in the game, Delgado just got completely leveled on a ball that he came out for, just like tabletopped. And I don't even think there's a yellow shown there. Um, like a lot of just stuff that's like, okay, that's a yellow card. Oh, no yellow card. Wow, okay. And then there was other stuff that was like, oh, that's a great challenge and it's a yellow card now. Wait, what? And like a couple times I think there's a foul given and it's like there's nothing there. Like what are we doing? Definitely an interesting officiated game. Kind of made it interesting in a game that didn't really have a lot in it.
And I think that breeds more criticism of an official when there's not a whole lot going on, but you seem to be doing a lot in that game. It can spotlight you versus, if that game was 3-2, we probably aren't talking about spotty officiating, but because it was a relatively boring game, not a lot of chances, not a lot of goals, it kind of spotlights the one man that was there all night. blowing the whistle.
All right. So enough about the officials. You got a man of the match from our team for this one.
It's Ferrin. I think you get the opener that ends up being the game winner. Nobody else with anything crazy of note. That's where I'm going to go. Congratulations to him for getting one in league play.
Yeah, I think Ferrin was my pick as well. I think Chris Garcia can also be a name mentioned, just for the pass, and he was so good down the wing all night long. Same with O'Connor, kind of running the midfield there. If his chance goes in, he probably gets. He's probably my second name for man of the match, and then Torres again. I can't talk highly enough about this guy. He's just all over the place. He's tracking back. That's kind of been one of the things it's been cool to see compared to last year and even earlier this season, like these guys, they give the ball away and we see all 11 players tracking back, working so hard to win the ball back. It's been really exciting to see because when you see stuff like that, that's where games are won, is those little details there. So shout out to him. But yeah, I think Ferrin, from both of us, man of the match for this one with the goal, clean finish. Don't know USL headquarters. I know you listen to the show. I don't know how that goal is not up for nomination of goal of the week. Like, no offense, some of those goals that they've got for goal of the week are really good. The Omaha one, I didn't think was anything special. I think that should have been Ferrin's goal, and I think Ferrin's goal beats all four of those goals. But I'll stop.
Yeah, and then now we get a week off to rest, recover, and look ahead to Sarasota, who is what they're now 1-1-2
Yes,
in the league.
they've played 4 games. They fell at the hands of one Knoxville, who is currently in second place, tied with us on points. We have the advantage on goal difference. They fell 2-1 to Knoxville at home. They lost their home opener 1-0 to Boise, tied Fort Wayne 2-2, and they've beat Portland Hearts of Pine at home 2 weeks ago 1-0. So kind of up and down.
They got Westchester midweek. Talk about terrible scheduling from the USL. Really putting one on the new kids on the block. Hey, we're gonna fly you guys up to New York and then bring you back and make you go down to South Florida. I think that's an unfair. It's I was talking about the advantage that we're gonna have going into that game. I think that's a brutal go for those guys.
That, I think, is peak USL League One, to have to go to Westchester on a Wednesday night after playing 3 home games in a row. You go to Westchester on a Wednesday night, and then you have to come back to Florida to play a road game. I love it. I love it. You got it. How could you not love it, right?
How could you not be romantic about League One? And they're going to be in the same boat as us, where I think they're going to be very heavily, very heavy home game early. Same climate that we're playing in. Kind of surprised. I can't imagine the weather in upstate New York right this time of year is going to be pleasant. So, best of luck to them as they got to really, they've been training in this heat. They're going to go up to the cold and then have to come right back into the heat. That cannot bode well for the rest and recovery phase that they're going to come across this week.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to have an advantage because it'll be like hot ice, the best of both worlds. So you never know.
Never know.
Shout out to like the 3 people that got that reference from an obscure, I think it's a 90s baseball movie. Sound off in the comments if you know what I'm referencing. But yeah, to take a look at the league table now, FC Naples sitting top with 10 points from 5 games. We're 3-1-1, plus 3 goal difference, which has given us the advantage over one Knoxville, who's also on 10 points, but they only have a plus 2 goal difference. So that second goal against Fort Wayne saving us, giving us that advantage right now over Knoxville. Omaha's only played 4 games. They are on 9 points. And then Spokane has also only played 4 games, 7 points. And then Ford Madison's 2-0-0, who we played last week. They were off this week. They play again next Saturday against Omaha in little rivalry there for them. But yeah, that's anything else from this Greenville game that we should talk about?
No, I think like we said, it's a gritty win. Those are the types of games. Those are the types of wins that get you a home playoff game in October. And they did their job and walked away with all three.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed with you there. Not much more we can ask for. Grind it out. I think we'll see a lot more of those games this year. Who we're going to become this season is just that grind it out kind of team. So that's going to do it from all of us here at Forza Naples. Be sure to follow us on social media. Share the podcast with your friends. Make sure to bring more friends to these Naples games at Paradise Coast. Beautiful nights this time of year. Can't beat them. Follow us on social media. Like the show. Rate the show. Subscribe if you want to hear more. We will be back later this week to preview the Sarasota game. Until then, we will see you soon. Come on, Naples.